Ireland's reputation is being ripped apart on the global stage after legislation has been proposed which would mean that people possessing hateful content could be subject to heavy fines or up to 5 years in prison. Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr. among the names, calling the legislation an attack on freedom of speech. Now, as we all know, this creepy desire to have room for differing opinions in society is often the mark of the modern day fascist, and the obvious truth is that these hate speech laws don't go far enough. Here are my 9 ways to intensify Ireland's hate speech laws. Number 1, keep verbiage deliberately vague. Fundamentally, hate speech is a game of feelings. If we specify clearly what constitutes hate speech and what doesn't, we may be forced to be legally consistent down the line. And this could prevent us from persecuting whoever we feel like, whenever we feel like it, depending on how we feel, from one day to the next. Number 2, we've got a serious issue in this country with what I call the going for one crisis. Irish men look at their wives, they say, "Honey, I'm going for one," only to return home hours later, sloshed out of their minds with a traffic cone on their heads, singing "How much is that doggy on the window?" In my view, going for one should be considered a legally binding contract, and breaking that contract, a hate crime against women. Number 3, identity politics. In 2018, Ireland celebrated the victorious abortion referendum, and the establishment media and the government were happy to point out how hateful it is to deny bodily autonomy to citizens in a free society. And then, 2021, Ireland excluded a minority from bars and cafes, and the media and the government were happy to point out how hateful it is to exercise bodily autonomy in a free society. Now, that may seem like a concerning contradiction, but it's not. The big difference is that we like those nice people over there, and we don't like those nasty people over there. And all you have to do is to ideologically conform to whatever hate we mandate, and you'll be fine. Number 4, re-examining the culture. Irish people need to realise that much of what they hold dear is fundamentally hateful. Their favourite comedy is racist. Their favourite Christmas song is homophobic. And both should be banned. Now, right-wing extremists will argue that laughter and joy are good for a society. And that opinion, in my opinion, should also be considered hate speech. Number 5, introduce affirmative action into Irish sports. I read a shocking study the other week which claimed that 100% of the people who've taken part in the men's national football team have been male. To offset this bigotry, why not introduce a mandatory quota? 33% male, 33% female, 33% non-binary. Fascists will grumble that we're sullying the sanctity of sport with politics, but who wouldn't find it empowering to see Big Panty Bliss banging in the goals from centre forward week in, week out? Number 6, ban the church. We are long past men dressed in black guilt-tripping us on how to live and what to think from a place of faux moral superiority with ideas that, quite frankly, belong in the Stone Age. It is high time that shrieking blue-haired teenagers guilt-trip us on how to live and what to think from a place of faux moral superiority with ideas that belong in Narnia. Number 7, why not institute an anonymous hate speech hotline that we can use to inform on our fellow citizens? For example, if you hear a neighbour ordering a pint of the black stuff, or claiming that they're knackered, or asking to bum a fag outside a pub, we should have a way to report these crimes to our government. Number 8, eradicate builders' crack. Since the construction boom of the 1990s, builders have become some of the nation's most notorious flashers. All too often, we find ourselves walking down the road, minding our own business, whistling a tune, only to be confronted by the deep ravine of a builder's hairy arse crack. I propose mandatory belts for the construction community, along with state-funded tailors to make sure they get the right fit. Number 9, tear down the monuments. The spire aka the stiffy by the lithy, is quite clearly a phallic symbol that represents toxic masculinity. Also, it's straight. And thankfully the IRA already got started on these types of actions when in 1966 they realised that women were entitled to walk down the street without having to see Nelson's or any other man's pillar. So guys, those are my 9 ways to intensify Ireland's hate speech laws. I certainly hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions of your own, by all means leave them in those comments. I've had a long day of work here, so probably gonna try and improve my social credit score by heading into town, kicking back, relaxing and buying a Chinese. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And you can't buy a Chinese, they're people too. No, I didn't mean it that way!